What is up, you guys? Welcome to the Seoul Dojo Gaming channel. My name is Curtis Russell and I write about video games, do content on video games. Look, I just love video games, all right? So today I got to finally dip my hand into my back catalog of games because while I was playing God of War Ragnarok, there were so many other games coming out and I really wanted to play them, but I was so adamant on beating God of War Ragnarok, which is an amazing game. Definitely the best game on PlayStation 5. And I don't see many other games coming out as an exclusive to really rival that game and probably take that place. We're talking about a game that's been in my back catalog for a minute now, is Sonic Frontiers. Now, if you know me, you know that I think Sonic Adventure 2 is one of the best Sonic games ever created. It's definitely my favorite Sonic game. And there's been other Sonic games like Sonic Mania, Sonic Generations, those games, like Sonic Heroes also. Those games are really good Sonic games. Now, they're all different in their own right. Sonic Frontiers is just, it's a breath of fresh air. It's like, oh my goodness, Sonic Team has finally made a good 3D modern Sonic game, because you look at games like Sonic Forces, Sonic Lost World, Sonic and the Black Knight. I mean, these games are just mediocre Sonic games, let's be honest. And Sonic Frontiers finally is like, okay, this is something new for the Sonic franchise, and it hits it on the head. So Sonic finds himself on the Starfall Islands that kind of takes place on multiple biomes. You have like a desert biome, you have like a grassy plain area, and he finds himself on these islands. Now, he loses his friends. His friends are stuck in this, I guess, this cyber limbo, you can say, and Eggman's there. It's the typical Sonic plot. Eggman has to be there, your friends need saving, and Sonic's the hero. Typical plot. Sonic Frontiers takes a lot of inspiration from Breath of the Wild, especially in the first main area where it's like this soft piano music that's playing in the background, and it has a bit of like this somber, serious tone, but Sonic is still making all his weird jokes. It's kind of funny and weird at the same time. But the open world of Sonic Frontiers does take a lot of inspiration from Breath of the Wild when you look at how open it is and the fact that you can kind of do everything at your own pace, but you have an overall objective. And one of those overall objectives is basically moving the story along by getting items. So it changes from each biome, from the desert biome, the grassy plains biome. It changes on what you need to get, but the overall objective is the same. You just need to get these items by doing, you know, certain objectives in the open world that moves the story forward. And you also have to do cyberspace levels that give you keys that will unlock Chaos Emeralds. The open world of Sonic Frontiers is made up of boost ramps and rails, things that are just synonymous with the 3D Sonic franchise. It kind of makes the traversing of the world pretty fun because they have these ancient structures you can run up, and that's kind of like part of some of the objectives. If you kind of go out of your way and you explore these open biomes, you are able to get a lot more items and you get a lot more done. So a lot of people are going to look at this as mindless busy work, but I find it very fun because I just want to run around with Sonic. That's what I want to do. I just want to go as fast as I can, hit the rails, grind on the rails, hit boost and things like that, and fight enemies. And I find myself just doing all these objectives and just collecting as much items as I can within like 15-20 minutes, and I find myself actually genuinely having fun doing it. Some people might see it's busy work. I don't think so, and that's the thing about video games, it's very subjective. So there are many new abilities that are at Sonic's disposal in Sonic Frontiers. One of the basic ones I had a lot of trouble just getting used to, which is the homing attack, right? Because the homing attack, usually you just press A or X, well, depending on what you're playing on. I'm playing on PlayStation 5, so I press X twice and I'm able to do a homing attack, but that's not the case in Sonic Frontiers. You have to press X and then square. That took me a minute to get used to, and it did have me fail a few cyber levels a few times, but yeah, you press X and then square. Also, Sonic can punch and kick and do all type of stuff. One of the more powerful abilities is the Sonic Boom move. I think it's a very cool ability. It definitely gets the job done on a lot of enemies, and overall, I think I like the combat. To summarize everything you're going to be doing in Sonic Frontiers, you're going to be collecting a lot of things to further your progression and further the story, continue the story as you talk to your friends and you figure out why you're on this island. There's a lot of things to do. There's a lot of different objectives to do. There's a lot of mini bosses to hit, and you know, they fill up these massive worlds or these massive areas. Now, my only issue is I wish there was more exploration, because the game does get repetitive in the sense of like how the open worlds or how these open areas are set up, and I wish Sonic Team kind of went further with that. But there could be sequels, there can be other games that can implement those features. Like I said before, a lot of people might see the objectives as mindless busy work. I don't. I like the traversing of the world. I like to go around these massive islands and kind of collect all these things and just see what I can do with Sonic. There is a good bit of pop-in in this game. The overall, I guess, performance of it can be a little weird. It's pretty good on PlayStation 5, I think, but I know on maybe on like a lesser console, it could probably have a little bit more issues. There is some jankiness, there is some pop-in, especially in the first boss fight where you're trying to run up the whole boss and you're just kind of cheesing. It feels like you're cheesing your way up there, and it's a little bit janky. But those are kind of like my main complaints of Sonic Frontiers so far. I do want to note that the first major fight in this game is awesome. You're Super Sonic, and the rings that you collect are basically your power source, so they deplete over time, but you have basically a ringed time limit to defeat this enemy. And it is just an epic fight. It has everything that a supersonic fight needs to have. It has this alternative rock going on in the background that just makes it feel massive and epic, and it's just such a good fight, and I really do like it. I think that summarizes just about everything that I like about Sonic Frontiers. When you look at the last 10 years and what games that Sonic Team has come out with, I mean, it's not hard to really top those games, because those games, like I said, are very mediocre games. When you have games like Sonic Team Racing coming out as kind of like a side game, but on the flip side, you do have games like Sonic Mania that were really good. They were passion projects. You know, Christian Whitehead and his team really put a lot of passion into Sonic Mania, and that was a really good game. But I think Sonic Frontiers, as a modern Sonic game made by Sonic Team, is a great game, and hopefully they just keep going forward with this kind of game. I'm not saying, you know, take that Breath of the Wild formula and keep running with it, but put the same amount of time, effort into, you know, the Sonic series, and keep making great games like Sonic Frontiers. My name is Curtis from the Seoul Dojo Gaming channel. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, and you can follow me on Twitter at Kelly from the Dojo, and I'll check you guys later. All right, peace.